What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes, the wholesale coach here, back for another video. In today's video, guys, I wanted to chat with you all about some tips for talking to motivated sellers. Build a relationship with these sellers, start to generate some rapport so you can get out here and make these deals happen, guys. You know, you want to get more yeses. I know a lot of y'all, y'all probably on the phone with a lot of people. Y'all wondering why they are not converting. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to actually get those sellers to convert, how to talk to them, what to say, things like that, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get into it.
With me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a...
Alright, guys, so I'm not gonna give you all like the step-by-step, here's every little question that you need to ask on this phone call. I kind of want to give you all some more general tips and strategies on how to actually convert these people, right? So we all know what we need to be saying. I mean, like, we know what we need to be asking. We need to find out about the beds and baths in the property, the general condition of the property, the motivation for them wanting to sell, probably a timeline, things like that, guys. So I'm not going to go into those types of details. But one of the first tips that I want to give you all is when you're talking to these motivated sellers, make sure that you're listening intently. Like, be actively listening to these people as they're talking and ask relevant follow-up questions. All right, that's a major tip right there. That's something that a lot of people don't actually do. They're just thinking about the next question that they're gonna ask. All right, so when you're on that phone call, make sure that you're focused up on the phone call. Actually listen to what they're saying. All right, so tip number 2 is gonna be, like, when you're on these phone calls, make sure that you're leading the conversation. You want to be asking the questions. You want to be the professional on this phone call. They expect for you to know what to do, basically. A great salesman is gonna lead the conversation. So make sure that you don't end up in a situation where you're just getting grilled by the seller. They're asking you a ton of questions. If that's happening, you're losing at that point in the conversation more often than not. All right, so a way to kind of avoid that from happening is when you're asked a question by a seller, you want to make sure that you follow up. You want to answer the question, but then you want to bring it back to the original purpose of the call or the next question in the series of questions. All right, so they're like, well, how did you get my phone number? Oh, well, I got it from public records, so I decided to reach out to you to see if you'd be interested in selling. They'd be like, are you an agent? No, I'm not an agent. I work with the local investors and decided to reach out to you to see if you'd be interested in selling. So you want to answer the question and immediately follow it back up with the original purpose of the phone call, okay? That's a great method to get yourself out of that constant question loop. And also, you don't want to just answer a question. Basically, if you answer a question and then you don't kind of follow it up like I just said, the brain instantly tells them to ask you another question. They start to go into interrogation mode when you're just answering questions instead of you asking all of the questions. So that's a major, major important tip when you're on these phone calls. Now, the next thing that I recommend for actually converting these motivated sellers and not just having conversations with people, but actually converting, right? Keep this in mind, guys. It's very few times are sellers actually going to convert on the very first call. You've got to follow up, guys, and you've got to set that follow-up on that phone call. Make sure that you set the follow-up. Don't let it be obscure. Don't let it be like, I'll call you back in a couple weeks, da-da-da-da-da. You want it to set an exact date whenever possible. You want to know exactly when you're going to be following up with this individual. It's very, very important that you all are on the same page. They know when you're going to be calling them back, and it's just not just obscure, and you don't want to just leave it up to randomness, guys. So kind of really, really keep that one in mind. That's a super important tip. All right, so the next strategy that I got for you all to talk to these motivated sellers and actually convert is going to be to smile when you're talking on these phone calls. That's something that a lot of people don't really talk about when it comes to cold calling strategies. But you want to smile. You want to transfer energy, because remember, they can't see your face, but you can feel a smile over a phone call, guys. You can literally feel someone's smile over a phone call. Even in a video, if you all didn't see my face, you can tell if I was smiling or not. Anyway, but yeah, guys, smiling is a great way to not only like maintain a positive frame while you're on those calls, but it's also a great way to transfer positive energy. So you feel, your energy feels way more trustworthy. It feels like, you know, you're smiling, which you are, and they can feel that. That makes them feel good. Smiles are very transferable. You know what I mean? Like, people can feel that over a phone. So make sure that you're smiling on these calls, guys. All right. And I just got a couple more tips for you all, and then we're going to wrap this up. The next strategy that I have for you all for talking to motivated sellers and actually converting is going to be to make sure that you're asking questions, right? Relevant questions that are going to help you build rapport. So, for instance, I have a great example for you all. If you hear someone say, you know, hey, miss, you know, if they say like, yeah, you know, my son, my daughter did X, Y, Z, or, you know, my dog this, my wife that, then the next time that you talk to them, you want to ask them about that family member, that dog, that you know, whatever it is. Like, hey, John, how's Margaret doing? Bang, make sure that you're actively building up rapport. If they mention that they used to go to this school, oh man, you know, my cousin used to go to that school. You want to make sure that you're actively listening and trying to find commonalities amongst you all. That's very, very, very important. People like to do business with people that remind them of themselves. So when you know, create that common ground between you and the seller, you put yourself in a much more favored position. All right, so definitely make sure that you all are really actively listening and building up that rapport by asking relevant questions. Lastly, guys, the last tip that I have for you all in this video before we wrap it up is going to be to just make sure that you're actually genuinely trying to help people, y'all. Like, for real, man. Like, don't do this stuff and just see these people as dollar signs. Like, legitimately see them as Mr. or Mrs. Johnson who maybe needs a liver transplant and needs this money to be able to get it done. Don't just see them as a dollar sign. See them as a real life individual who has problems, needs, wants, and things like that. You know, like, really, really be open and listening to them, you know, and understanding that they're a human. Don't just see them as a dollar sign. And when you do that, the reason why I'm telling you this is because when you actually do it the right way and like you really care about the people that you're going to be working with, it makes such a huge difference on the energy that you're putting out there. It makes a huge difference on how they perceive your value when they can feel that you have their best interests in mind, right? So, and trust me, if you're just seeing them as a dollar sign, you're going to behave that way. Your energy is going to be like that or whatever, and they can smell that salesman breath. You don't want to be that person. You want to be that genuine, honest person who actually has their best interest in mind, guys. You know what I mean? Anyway, though, guys, you know, I'm not gonna hold y'all here much longer. That's basically it, guys. You know, as always, man, I hope that y'all feeling healthy, staying blessed. Check out my Wholesaler University with the links in the description down below. Over 100 videos showing y'all step by step how to get out here and get these wholesale deals. Definitely check out my contracts package. I am taking new coaching clients right now, so if you are interested in getting one-on-one coaching from your boy, definitely feel free to hit that coaching link down below. Like always, guys, I hope that y'all staying healthy, staying blessed. Until next time, guys, we are out.